Boom, 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 boom. Chickadee chanker, lads and lasses, what's going on? Good morning. It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with a early stream for you guys and gals, just with the latest news of today and also last night in regards to Manchester United. We're going to get into it all. Thank you very much for getting in here very early doors. We're not usually on at this time, but we are today because there's big news and big movements in regards to the takeover of Manchester United. And there's also a little matter of a Europa League quarter-final, semi-final and final draw, which is taking place shortly today as well, which we will be back on for in a bit. But thank you everyone for getting in here for this morning show. Gungshi, how you doing there, my son? FJT, Bruce McIntosh, Ronnie, Elliot, Kelvin, Sphinx Sue, Johnny M, Mikey, what's going on? Kieran, Sound Dog, Super Fat Frank, FJT and everybody else as well. Thank you very much for getting in for the stream. Do us a favour at the start of this show this morning and hit that like on the video. Give us a free thumbs up. It's free, so hit the likes on it. Also, give it a share around on social media. That will help this channel out no end. We've pinned the Twitter to the top of the live chat. There it is right there. It says retweet. Click that link. Give us a retweet if you're on Twitter, and we'll give you a shout out later at the end of the show. Nice one. Right, okay, we've got one big break-in piece of information, or not necessarily break-in, but one big bit of information that I want to cover before anything else, really. And that is that Arsenal are out of the Europa League to Sporting Lisbon last night, my son. Come on. Get in there, my friends. Let's all laugh at Arsenal first. That's the first order of the day. You know, forget all this takeover stuff. Forget all this other stuff for the time being. Let's just take a second to enjoy Arsenal absolutely bottling it and returning to type. Absolute bottle merchants, aren't they? Come on, get in there. Things you love to see. Arsenal absolutely bottling it. Oh, brilliant. No, it's fantastic. No, it's absolutely fantastic, guys. We were talking about this yesterday after the United game. Post-match, we just had a quick discussion about the favourites for the tournament. And we had a quick look at the odds from the odds makers. And Manchester United were firmly sat at the top of the most likely to win the Europa League table, as in we had the shortest odds to win the tournament. Arsenal were in second at the time. They ain't in second anymore, guys, in regards to whether or not they were likely to win the tournament. But that goes to show you something. They were top of the league, yet they were still behind Manchester United because they don't know how to win in Europe. And this is another fine example, really, getting dumped out by Sporting Lisbon, my friend. It's fucking hilarious. So I just wanted to talk about that for a second. We are going to get onto the Man United news, of course, but we have to address the elephant in the room, which is Arsenal no longer in the Europa League. Come on, get in there. Which further just leaves the path clear, of course, for Manchester United to go in and win it as well. Because I think if we're being honest, yeah, there's some really good teams there. You don't want to get Juventus. You know, there's some good teams left in it, of course. But we are the most likely to go on and win this tournament now. And that's only been made more likely by Arsenal being dumped out of the tournament. Just Juve to deal with. Well, there's some good teams left in there, Ronnie Dodge, to be fair. There's some good teams left in there. But none as good as Ten Hag's Manchester United. If you think about what Ten Hag and United have actually done recently, you think about that Real Betis game. How professional was that job done last night? Yeah, it wasn't the most glimmering, shining performance you ever see. But it was professional. It was going away to a tough place in Spain when they've got to take the game to you. And we've weathered the storm. We've kept a clean sheet. And we've won the game on the night. And we've won the tie overall 5-1. I mean, it doesn't get much more professional than that sort of away display that we had last night. So Eric Ten Hag and the lads are doing absolute bits. We've got, obviously, a big tie to find out who we've got in the next round soon. Hopefully we get, like, Union Berlin or someone. But we've got obviously, to find that out a bit later on. So we'll be back on the channel a bit later today because but around about 10:45, the programme starts on BT Sport 1, I think, which is the Champions League draw and also the Europa League draw as well a bit later after that, I'd say about midday. So we'll jump on and we'll cover all of the draws as it happens. So we'll find out exactly who we get shortly. So do come back in a little bit and hang out with us for that as well. We'll find out who we get in the next round. And actually, I think they're drawing the semi-final and the final at the same time. So we will see our route to the final. We'll see which teams that we get. But Ten Hag doing absolutely wondrous things at Manchester United, no doubt. and the potential of lifting the trophy in the Europa League is high. We are the favourites with the bookmakers to lift the trophy. So that sort of tells you the turnaround that Ten Hag's been able to oversee at United and has actually been able to make us a really good team again. A team that's confident and a team that other people are confident about, that maybe we could go on and win games. We've won that League Cup. It's a first trophy in 5-6 years. It was a massive achievement, really. And now we can go on and add to that. And teams like Arsenal, Hollands, they've still got the Premier League to go for, of course, but they're not seasoned in the European competition whatsoever. Liverpool dumped out the Champions League, dumped out of all the competitions they're in, not in the top 4. It goes to show you what a tremendous job that Erik Ten Hag is actually doing. Zayn Mayassi in the chat. Get in there, my son. I'm surprised you've crawled out from under your rock so far this morning, Zayn Mayassi. What are you doing out so early there, Zayn Mayassi? I guess he's not been to sleep. He's probably just been on an all-night bender after that gastastic result last night, mate. Seeing them fail in European competition once again. Zayn Mayassi, thank you for your super chat, mate. Can we just take a second and laugh at Zayn Mayassi's Arsenal, please, guys? Thank you, Zayn, though. He's commented and said, Ramsdale got distracted by Kadasian, who was in the stadium anyway. Do you mean Kardashian? What are you talking about? Stadium, we can concentrate on the league, which we'll win. Oh yeah. No, you're happy to be out of the Europa League, aren't you, Zayn Mayassi? So you can concentrate. So you can concentrate on the league, yeah. Well, I hope you're right, Zayn Mayassi, because I would rather see you guys win it than City, but I still fundamentally think you are a bunch of bottle merchants, bud. So we'll see. I think that was evident last night, wasn't it? Ronnie Dodge, thanks for getting your highlighted comment in here, Ronnie. Thank you, buddy. He says Rashi doesn't score sitters, he does screamers. Man, oh man, what an unbelievable goal he scored yet again. 27 goals for the season. Marcus Rashford, everybody. He just keeps on doing it. And he wasn't even having that great of a game, really. He was missing a few chances. He was looking a little bit gash by his high standards. But that's what he can do. He can just change a game for you. He can win a game. He is officially a match winner now. Marcus Rashford is one of the best players in the world based on current form, based on this season. And he's an absolute match winner. Who needs Cristiano Ronaldo when you've got Marcus Rashford? In all fairness, thank you, Ronnie. Let's get a hashtag 15 in there. Thanks for being a member of the channel for 15 months, Ronnie Dodge, lad. And Zayn Mayassi's got another super chat in the live chat. Zayn Mayassi, he says, Ten Hag criticising Arsenal. He might get cancelled by Meghan Markle as her husband's a gooner. Oh, goodness me. Might get cancelled by Meghan Markle. Oh, my goodness. Zayn Mayassi, thank you for getting in it. You're in good spirits today. You're in good spirits today. I appreciate that, you know. I wasn't expecting it, really. I mean, look, to be fair, Zayn, it's quite easy to criticise Arsenal Hollands because of their lack of pedigree when it comes to winning trophies and winning league titles and things like that. You've got a chance this season, and good luck to you. But it's 2004 was the last time you won it, so you know it's the criticism is warranted, lad. Hey, Bell609, well, thank you, Zayn. By the way, let's get some poo emojis in the live chat for shithouse Arsenal. Bell6891, thank you for getting your comment in here. Being a member 27 months, wowzers. That's the same amount of goals as Marcus Rashford had this season. Come on, Rashi. He says, Pigsy's up at the crack of dawn. I am today, Bell691. We've got plenty to discuss and get into this morning. We haven't even cracked open the old Sheikh Jassim news and everything, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Just wanted to address the Europa League quickly. Last night's performance by Manchester United, obviously professional, got the job done. And also just to laugh at Arsenal, really, because they've been bigging up themselves big time for a long time. It's just great to see them bottle it. Zayn Mayassi's going in here raw. Let's get some raw emojis in for Zayn. This is what he's got to say next. He says, we didn't take our chances and Sporting played better. I hope we buy some of their players. Zayn, fair play, you know, very objective, very grown-up, mature attitude you've taken there, bud. I think if you look over the two ties, you're absolutely right, pal. I don't think you were good enough to beat Sporting. If anything, you're kind of lucky in their backyard as well to come away with a 2-2 draw with, was it Saka's shot deflected in, etc.? It just, you know, Sporting were the better side over the two legs, weren't they? You're absolutely right, Zayn Mayassi, yeah. What does that tell you, though, about Arsenal Hollands leading the league table, unable to beat Sporting Lisbon? No big concerning, isn't it? Sporting Lisbon, clearly a good team, though, Zayn. Fair play to you, my son. Come on, get in there. Tell you what, it's been a great few days for seeing our rivals dumped out of the European Cups and stuff like that. It's been very entertaining for me. I don't know about you guys. By the way, we've got 85 legends in it. Let's see if we can get 85 likes. We've only got 35 likes on the stream right now. You what? What is this, an Arsenal level of performance? We can do better than that, my friends. Drop a like on this video if you're just joining us. That will help boost us up there on the algorithm. It's free to like. Give us a cheeky little like spike. You know it makes sense. The North London Bottling Company is in full flow, Luke, absolutely. Thank you, Callum Hughes, for becoming a member of this channel, by the way. Let's go. Welcome, Callum. Thank you so much, dude, for choosing to support the show. Let's be having you, dudes. Everyone, get your favourite emoji in there for Callum, who has become a member of the Bacon Brigade. Absolutely love to see it. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Callum Hughes. And yes, let's get some Irish emojis in the live chat for Callum Hughes, but also for anybody else who's Irish or whatnot, or anybody who's celebrating St. Patrick's Day, because I forgot to mention that at the start of the show. It is St. Patrick's Day today, so happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody who celebrates that. I'm guessing there's probably going to be a fair amount of Guinness drunk today up and down the land. So enjoy, guys. Have a great St. Patrick's Day. I won't be partaking, unfortunately, but, you know, I would do if I was feeling a bit better. I would most definitely be having a few Guinnesses. So enjoy, guys, but happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. FJT says cheers, mate. No worries at all. Zay Miyasi, thank you so much for getting in with another super chat. He says, right, back to Warcraft. Have a good stream. Zay Miyasi is drowning his sorrows in World of Warcraft right now, drinking digital grog. Fair play to you, Zane. I love it. Thank you so much. Enjoy, lad. Enjoy. I suppose you want to see some sort of wizardry going on somewhere, don't you? That's what you want. Thank you, Zamiasi. I appreciate you, though. Thank you so much for getting in with your super chat, lad. Right, I guess we better... we've laughed at Arsenal now. I guess we better get into the latest news in regards to the takeover of Manchester United. We are looking, you know, like it's going to happen reasonably soon. Obviously, we want those Glazers out. And it's coming, guys. It's coming. So last night, there was a report from Fabrizio Romano just to say a little bit more about the state of affairs with the visit from Sheikh Jassim's representatives and team yesterday. They were there for a heck of a long time, it sounds like. And this is what Fab said last night. He said positive feelings on Sheikh Jassim's side after the delegation spent 10 hours at United today. They remain determined to buy 100% of the club after talks. Formal new bid expected soon. Plan has never changed, while Ineos Group will also visit Manchester United, which is taking place today. And Simon Stone also reporting the same sort of thing here, that he was told that the Qatari delegation were at Man United for 10 hours. Meetings described as positive, and they remain fully committed to buying the club. So, you know, excellent news, really excellent reports. Doesn't mean necessarily that they will be the successful bidder. There's still Sir Jim Ratcliffe and maybe even one or two other parties that are still interested and still have a chance of buying Manchester United. But Sheikh Jassim is certainly leading the race at the moment. Just to give you a bit more information on it, Fabrizio gave us a little bit more info and just said more on the Qatari group. Sheikh Al Thani feels their proposal is the best one for Manchester United. As reported last week, the bid is for 100% of the club, and there's going to be big investment in the squad, facilities, stadium, youth system, and everything like that. So it's not just a case of buying out the Glazers' stake in the football club and running things as is and having United sustain itself by spending the money that the club generates. This seems like this will be a big investment in Manchester United. So, you know, there's positives from that, of course. Manchester United could certainly be the most powerful club in world football again if we did have Qatari owners. That's the reality. And just a bit more on some of the talks that were taking place and some of the feelings that happened yesterday. Mike Keegan reporting that United's sale talks with Qatari group lasted 10 hours and were cordial, extensive and positive. There was a big focus on financials, and also it's unclear how many more rounds there will be to come in terms of negotiations and visits and these kind of things. There is a second bid incoming, and they remain determined. And there's been relationships formed based on this situation. So there is a big expectation that there's a formal bid coming soon, as we can see from Fabrizio Romano's tweet last night. Formal new bid expected soon. Plan has never changed. So a further round of negotiations, a further bid essentially from Sheikh Jassim. and there should be a strong emphasis on getting this done, hopefully within the next couple of months. That's what we want. We know that the Glazers will probably be quite okay with taking their time on this deal. They know that there's a lot of people interested in this club, and they just want the most money, so they don't really care who it comes from. They'll be prepared to wait a little bit, which is why we haven't seen United sold ridiculously quickly already. There's lots of different rounds and negotiations that are going to take place here, just simply because they want the most money they can get. There's lots of different parties interested in this, so therefore they will bide their time. Let's get some hashtag Glazers out in the live chat. I'm absolutely sick of these guys, to be honest. There was a few people in here trying to defend them yesterday, saying, oh, they have spent a lot of money on transfers and that kind of stuff. But it doesn't really matter about that. It's the fact that even if they did spend 200 million in the summer on transfers, we got Wout Weghorst in January. We didn't go and get the midfielder that we needed in the summer, the extra midfielder. We got Sabitzer come in later, stuff like that. Just like they haven't gone the extra mile ever. They've just done the bare minimum to keep us competitive for top 4, really, because that keeps the money flowing in for them. That keeps the sponsorship deals flowing in. That keeps the sponsors sweet. But to actually go and take that extra step to spend big money and to go and challenge for the title, that's something completely different. You do need extra investment. You do need to really go for it and have ambition to do that. They've never really shown that ambition. So that's my biggest problem with them, and that they don't strengthen other areas of the squad as well. So thank you for the Glazers outs in the live chat, guys. Keep the green and gold flowing. But it's positive, guys. We are going to have new owners soon. It may be a little bit long and drawn out because we know the Glazers want the most money that they can get. But, it's not just the Sheikh. It's not just the Sheikh that wants to buy the club as well. So let's give you the lowdown on Sir Jim and what's going on here. So some info's coming out in regards to this. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's bid ahead of his visit to Man United tomorrow. So this is 10 hours ago last night. But Ratcliffe will be present. He feels it's important to attend. So that is one differentiating factor, I suppose, is that Sheikh Jassim was not there yesterday. It was a team of representatives for Sheikh Jassim, obviously, going to visit the club. Sir Jim Ratcliffe may be taking a more hands-on approach. It says he feels it's important to attend. The meetings, as 9-2 Foundation found, are about information gathering and, as importantly, relationship building. So, he's going to, essentially what the reports are, is he's going to attend today himself, and he will have, I think, Sir Brailsford and a couple of others with him as well, but he is going to be present as well. So, there's a lot of debate about who would be the right owners, who would be the best owners, who's the worst owners. To me personally, I don't know. I really don't know. There's pluses and minuses, isn't there? We talked about yesterday after the game as well, a bit previously about the positives of Sir Jim, the negatives of the Qatari owners. Sir Jim's got a chemical company. That's not too positive even in itself. Nobody who's a super rich oligarch billionaire type person is really squeaky clean. But we do have concerns about human rights issues with Qatari owners. I asked this question yesterday after the watch along, and I'm going to ask it again. I'm going to ask it again right now. But if the initial investment and the future investment by these two parties, we've got Sir Jim Ratcliffe and we've got the Qataris, if they were going to invest the same, I know this is totally a moot point because they're not going to, but if they were going to invest the same amount of money, who would you want? Sir Jim, or would you want Qatar? If they were going to invest the same amount of money, who would you want? Who would you want? Answer the question, damn it. Because me personally, I don't think many people would want Qatar because of some of the negative connotations that has, i.e. human rights issues, gay rights issues, women rights issues, migrant workers being killed building their stadiums in the World Cup, greasing the palms of FIFA in order to get that World Cup in the first place. There's a lot, come on. I'm not saying this guy is behind all of that, but essentially it's coming from, the state of Qatar, right? And, to answer that question honestly, I think you do have to factor in these factors. People don't want to talk about this, do they? They don't want to talk about it. They just want to say, oh, Qatar's got all the money. Well, they do have all the money, but I'm just saying it's not exactly, a perfect acquisition of the club to have these concerns. There will be people that are talking about this in the future. If you look at, say, Eddie Howe at Newcastle, almost every single interview or every single press conference that he has, somebody mentioned something about the Saudi owners and the this and that and the what's happened in Saudi Arabia, and Eddie Howe just has to bat away all of these questions every single week because it's difficult. But really, those issues are there. Are we just going to get away from that? I mean, it's sad, but money is everything in this world, isn't it? To most people, money is everything to most people in this world. So all I'm bringing this up for is just to say that the Qatar investment here would be fantastic for Manchester United in order for us to rebuild and have all of the money that we need to have new stadium and facilities and everything and be the best club in the world again. But it's not all positive, guys. It's not all positive, and let's not pretend that it is. Let's not pretend that it is. There's still going to be some concerns with human rights. We this is we are Manchester United is a club within Western culture, and is it in keeping with Qatari culture? I mean, that's what you have to understand. It's not all positive, but we're not going to dwell too much on that. What is this, the BBC? You know what I mean? We're not going to get too overly political here. I don't give a toss really, but they're all kind of dirty, if you ask me. Like in regards to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, most billionaires, they're all kind of got some problems, don't they? So to me, I'm not really that bothered, because if we get Sir Jim Ratcliffe, we're a self-sustaining beast at Manchester United. We can generate huge amounts of money as long as it's used wisely, and all that money's going back into the football club, and they're not spending it on £80 million fridges, such as, £80 million fridges, such as Harry Maguire, and we're investing well in all areas, and we're not siphoning money out of the club. I think we'll be just fine. We are a huge club that generates hundreds of mil a year. But it has to be said, if the Qataris come in, then we will have huge spending power. We will have huge investment. We know that they're going to spend big money to invest in all different areas. So there was a big focus yesterday when they visited, and they were having negotiations on the financials at Manchester United. They know the situation with our debts, and they're obviously finding out all of this information. And they are proposing that they will invest in all different areas of the squad. Not the squad, sorry, the club. So they'll invest in the squad, they'll invest in the infrastructure, they'll invest in the facilities, they'll invest in the surrounding area. It will create a lot of jobs. It will create a lot of prospects for local people, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So you've got to chalk that up as a positive as well, big time for the Qatari investment here. So, I think that probably leads us to being the best club in the world. Again, so we should be. It probably leads us to being the best club in the world pretty damn quickly. Whereas if you go with Sir Jim Ratcliffe and he's coming in and maybe borrowing money or having a consortium helping him out in order to fund the actual purchase of the 69% stake that the Glazers have, I don't think you can say the same there. I think obviously they can spend because Man United generates a lot of cash. But is he the type of guy that's going to come in and just smack $2 billion down on a new stadium? I don't think so, to be honest, guys. So for that reason, I kind of am warming towards the Qatari ownership, just simply because I know that takes us to the #1 spot again in world football. And that's what we all want, and that's what Manchester United deserves, really. Have the greatest fan base in the world, have the biggest support around the globe. We should be able to compete in all areas and have the best team, best club, best infrastructure, best facilities, best stadium in the world as well. Hey, we've got a new member of the channel as well here. Thank you, Raptor. Let's go, man. Thank you so much, Raptor. Let's be having you, dude. He's become a member of the Bacon and Egg Brigade. Everyone, come on. Let's get a cheeky little favourite Phil Jones in there for Raptor, who has become a member of the channel. I really appreciate that, my son. Thank you so much, Raptor, for becoming a member and becoming a tier 2 member. Let's be having you, Raptor. Thank you so much for joining, lad. Panda says Visit Qatar would look bad as a sponsor on our beloved red shirt. It would be a bit shite, wouldn't it? Yes, that's a fair point. Super Fat Frank says Sir Jim simply needs to take off the brakes that the Glazers have applied. That's true. I mean, that's true. That's why I'm not that bothered whoever ends up with the club, because I feel like as long as he's going to, actually shepherd Manchester United well, oversee Manchester United well, not siphon out money and do all the underhand tactics and the lack of investment everywhere that the Glazers have done, we'll be just fine. Stefan makes a very good point. He says English football sold its arse long ago, and this could just be a continuum. Any tradition has been lost and sold to the highest bidder. Spot on, really, Stefan. Yes, I mean, we are way beyond the days of, let's go with this particular owner because they're homegrown. You know, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is a Salford lad who's done good. You know, that does mean something to me. He's a local lad. He's obviously a super rich billionaire himself. That means something to me, but I don't think it really means anything to the Premier League or means anything to the Glazers. The Glazers are just looking for the most amount of money they can get, really, and they probably will get that with Qatar. So, you know, they're not concerned about, oh, this guy maybe fits Manchester United better than this person. They don't really care. Well, there you go. Hector Smith says, actually, PSG ownership doing well, catering the fans, also put loads of money in transfers. You don't want that? Hector, I mean, I do want that. You know, I do want that. I do want us to go and sign players like Kylian Mbappe. And, you know, Man United, when before the Glazers were here, and even while they were still here, when Ferguson was still here for a while, obviously it took a while for their stranglehold to really take effect. But we were able and we were capable of buying the best players in the world. You know, we were capable of doing that. And that's what we should be capable of doing again. If Man United have the spending power that PSG had, then we will sign the best players in the world. Nobody can deny the tradition and the name and the reputation, the pull of playing for Manchester United. It's an absolutely amazing place to play football. It's only certain things that have let us down. I mean, Ronaldo exposed quite a lot of the issues to credit him, and we're not going to credit him much because he still stabbed us in the back and stabbed Ten Hag in the back. By the way, Ten Hag and Rashford and everybody taking a dump on Cristiano Ronaldo's interview with Piers Morgan. You have to say, haven't we? Since then, I mean, who needs Cristiano Ronaldo? Since then, he's talking about all the negative young players not listening to him and stuff like that in his Piers Morgan interview. He's talking about Ten Hag and his lack of empathy and all this stuff. And I mean, I don't think we've seen United as close-knit, United as much of a good of a team and as committed and awesome as we've seen them, you know, for years now. Ten Hag deserves massive credit. Basically, Ronaldo looks like a bit of a mug now. But what Ronaldo did say in that interview, he did highlight a lot of the issues. He said that it's kind of like it's a dated club. It needs a lot of investment. You know, there's gym equipment that's old. There's a lack of, real cutting-edge facilities and things like that. So there is a big problem at United, and that was highlighted. Zlatan Ibrahimovic said something quite similar. He said when he went to Manchester United, you know, he obviously knew it was a huge club and he was expecting a big club. But when he got there, he found a closed mentality, which is all set up by the Glazers, really, and their lack of funding, their lack of investment in all areas. So I'm looking forward to United getting back to being the very best in every single field. We should be the best at youth recruitment. We should be the best at scouting networks. We should be the best in terms of facilities. When you actually think about the fact that over the last, 5-10 years, Man United have lost out to a lot of young talents to the likes of Manchester City. It's just wrong and disgusting because they've thrown money at their club and they've thrown money at their facilities and their stadium, but they've certainly thrown money at their youth recruitment and their scouting networks and things like that. And they've also taken a punt on players. Like, we had opportunities in the last few years to sign a couple of the players that ended up going to Manchester City. And it's just plain wrong that we didn't get them. People like Ruben Diaz, to be fair. People like Julian Alvarez. We had the opportunity to sign all of these guys, and we probably should have signed all of these guys rather than going to spunk it on Harry Maguire. So it's mismanagement from the top down at United. Piss poor. Piss poor planning. Piss poor performance. You fail to invest in certain areas, that's where you're going to fall down. So very disappointing that we've been outdone by teams like City in terms of signing young talents over the years. It shouldn't be the case. Mr. Nobody, thank you so much for getting in here with your super chat. He says, Zayn Magashi is quiet today. Typical arse in Hollands. Mr. Nobody, he did pop on here earlier, actually. In fact, here he is again. You've woken the beast. You've woken the beast now, Mr. Nobody. But yeah, just as you said that, let's all take a second and laugh at the Arsenal Hollands once again. Thank you for that, Mr. Nobody. Zamiassi, thanks for the super chat again here. He says, Lineker, apart from playing for Spurs, attacks Qatar for human rights, yet does a podcast with Alistair Campbell, who pushed the illegal Iraq war. Lineker, to be fair to Lineker, right, I don't think he really speaks for every man, does he? He's kind of, he's just a bit of a super rich melter these days, you know. It must be nice and easy for him. That's all I'm saying, but it doesn't really, you know, I don't think he speaks for most of us, to be fair, Zamiasi. He's entitled to have his say, though, and say what he wants, but, I mean, you just made a good point there, Zamiasi, and it's a good point that was made to people like, say, Gary Neville in the, I like Gary Neville, but the thing is with Gary Neville is, you know, he's a bit of a hypocrite as well, isn't he, Zamiasi? Because, like, think about the summer, he was berating the fact that the World Cup was awarded to Qatar, and the fact that it was in Qatar, and the fact that migrant workers died, and the fact that there was human rights issues, and then he's going over there and doing the coverage and getting paid and sucking from the Qatari teat. And he was on Have I Got News For You, wasn't he? And he was confronted about it, and he didn't have anything good to say at all. He just had to back down and just take it, because he knew he was in the wrong. He knew what he was doing was just money grabbing, and he knew that he was, you know, basically leaving his morals and his ethics at the door for one Winter World Cup, I should say. You know, so yeah, what can I say other than you're kind of right there, Zamiasi. Hypocrites, man. Sin Games, I know this is an early one for me. Hey, how you doing this morning, bud? Good to see you. Good to see you. By the way, guys, we've got 141 legends tuning in right now. 84 likes. Let's see if we can get 100 likes on the stream. Keep dropping the thumbs up if you haven't done so. And get yourself subscribed to the channel if you're new. And remember, we're going to be back on here in about 40 minutes time for the Europa League draw as well. But I wanted to give you all the latest updates in regards to this Qatar potential takeover, and also Sir Jim Ratcliffe visiting the club today. Kieran, thanks for your highlighted comment, Bus. He's been a member 9 months. Let's get a 9 in there. Thank you, Kieran. He comments, happy Arsenal are out. We're winning the Europa League. I'm with you, bud. I think that they were probably the sternest competition we got in the tournament. There's still some good clubs in there, Juventus, etc. Don't get me wrong, but you know, United are the favourites for a reason. We were actually the favourites before Arsenal got dumped out, which tells you everything about Arsenal you need to know, even though they're top. But the fact is, yes, now Arsenal are out the tournament. I was envisaging a tie at some point in the remaining 3 rounds. You know, got the quarterfinals, semi-finals, final. I was envisaging a game against Arsenal, to be fair, because I believe we were probably the 2 best teams left in it. But couldn't be any more wrong, because Arsene Holland's got dumped out by Sporting last night. Happy days. Thank you, Kieran, lad, and I agree with you. I think we will win the Europa. Let's ask the live chat, guys. Smash a 1 in the chat if you feel confident that Man United are going to go and lift that European trophy. Wouldn't that be just the most amazing thing for Erik ten Hag to do this season? He's already got the League Cup. That's one thing, you know. The League Cup is known as the Mickey Mouse Trophy. It's okay to win it. Nobody really cares too much about it. It's nice that we won a trophy for the first time in 5.5 years, though. However, it's just a Mickey Mouse Cup. The Europa League, it is the secondary European trophy. Of course it is. But that is a real measure of a good team to win it. No bad teams win the Europa League. Plus, it actually does, like I keep saying, get you into another tournament, which is the European Super Cup, which is contested between the winners of the Europa League and the winners of the Champions League. And therefore, it gives us another chance of winning a major European trophy at the start of next season, which would be absolutely amazing, wouldn't it, if we could go on and do that? So I feel confident that in Ten Hag and the lads that we're going to win it, and I don't see any reason why not, to be fair. Dark Knight 22, thank you also for being a member 9 months. Get a 9 in there for Dark Knight. Thank you, buddy. He comments, Pig, if we get the new owners, who would you like us to sign first? Okay, so if we had Qatari owners, then Dark Knight, thank you for your highlight comment, bud. If we had the Qatar owners and they've just got a transfer budget for Ten Hag of 200 million, if I was the Qatari owners, what I would do is I would move Kylian Mbappe from PSG to Manchester United, to be fair. I think he's probably one of the best forward players in the world, if not the best, and certainly he's still young, certainly has many great years ahead of him. I'd also be very happy if we can't do that and we go and get somebody like Victor Osimhen or even Harry Kane. You know, I would be very happy as long as we go and get a proven goal scorer, somebody who's got real pedigree and also is just a quality player. But obviously there's levels to this game. I would much rather Kylian Mbappe than pretty much anybody else, just because I think he's absolute class. Now that signing would be completely beyond the realms of possibility just a short while ago. But if we had Qatar owners, that is the sort of signing we can actually do. It's the sort of signing we can make. You know, 200 million it would probably take to sign that guy. But if you want to be the best team in the world, you need the best players in the world. Somebody like that would be brilliant. So I would go and get Kylian Mbappe if it's realistic at all, which I think it would be if we had those owners. And then beyond that, Jude Bellingham. You might have to spend 100 million on this guy as well. So United only really need to get 2 or 3 quality players in to improve our starting 11. And then we need some depth players. And also just in signing a couple of great players to improve the starting 11, we will improve the depth in the rest of the squad anyway by doing so. So I think if you just went and got Mbappe and Bellingham, we'd be fine. We'd be absolutely sorted. Yeah, you can go and get a world-class right back. Yeah, you could go get another centre-back because Varane is injured a lot, etc. You know, but ultimately, most of our problems lie within the midfield depth and within the fact that we do not have a proper proven goal scorer at the top of the pitch. If we had that, we'd be absolutely unstoppable, I think, next season. So I would just go and spend 300 million on Bellingham and Mbappe. It sounds ridiculous to talk about, but it's actually feasible with Qatari owners, isn't it? So there you go. That's sort of where I'm at, really. Let us know, though, guys, if you could sign 2 players for Man United in the summer, who would you go and get? And I would expect us to sign a lot more than 2. I would think maybe we could see Harry Maguire go out. I mean, Harry Maguire was talking after the game last night, and he was talking about his importance behind the scenes at Manchester United, not just on the pitch, and he's got a big role in the squad and he wants to stay and prove himself to the team. Essentially, no, he didn't say that exactly, but in a roundabout way. But to me, the writing's on the wall for Harry Maguire. I'm pretty sure that he will not be here beyond the summer. He actually had a decent game last night for us, but there were still times and glimpses and moments in the game where just his lack of pace, really, that's all it really is, lets us down. So for that reason, he's just not really going to stay around and be a backup player. He is on big money, though, and unless another team is prepared to come in and actually bid for him and buy him for money, 20 million quid or 30 million quid or whatever it may take to get him, he probably will stick around because, you know, he's on big money. But he's getting in Southgate's England team right now. Will he get in Southgate's England team going forward, though, if he's not playing regularly beyond this season? Probably not. So I think for his own career, he needs to go to a club like Everton or someone where he's going to get regular game time, will be a bigger player, he'll get regular, you know, he'll start most games, maybe even be a captain, maybe even still have a leadership role. But he's not going to have that at Manchester United. So, but in doing that, we'll probably will free up another position at the back there, you know, to sign a Jurriën Timber type player. So get rid of Maguire, get rid of a couple of the players in the squad who are just not really good enough and haven't proven themselves to United, and go and get some real talents, some younger talents, maybe some people to come in and deputise for Varane and Martinez at the back there. Timber is a player that obviously Ten Hag likes, which is why I'm talking about him, but there's a whole host of different players we could go and get that would fit the bill. Certainly Maguire's had his time at United and he's not really ever been very good, has he? So we just need to incrementally improve in all different areas of the team, really. Like, I'd be up for getting rid of Bruno Fernandes if it meant we could go and get somebody better. But I love Bruno and I don't think we should get rid of him, obviously. He's a great player. But if there's, the point I'm making is, if there's somebody better, then why not go and get that person who's better? We want to be constantly striving to improve. Wan-Bissaka and Dalot are great on the right-back position, aren't they? They're good options. Dalot's good going forward. Wan-Bissaka's a defensive beast. But if we could go and get, you know, somebody who's even better, why wouldn't we want to do that? That's what I'm saying. So United need to have ambition. We need to start making ruthless decisions and working towards improving all aspects of this football club. Ricardo dos Santos Nortman, thank you for the super chat, lad. Let's go. He comments and says, Liverpool and Arsene Holland's out in the same week. Not a bad week at all, Piggy. It's a fucking fantastic week, isn't it, Ricardo? I agree with you, sir. I agree with you entirely, lad. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Ricardo. Let's get some love in there for Ricardo. Thank you for the super chat, bud. Okay, so just got a little bit more news to get into. Then we will get into a Q&A real quick, guys, with you legends in the chat. Thank you all for being here again. Do drop the like on the video if you want. We're almost at 100 likes. Hit the subscribe if you're new so you can chat. You only need to be subscribed for 0 seconds to chat. So if you're there watching and you want to have your say, make sure you subscribe and you'll be able to do so. So Sir Jim Ratcliffe is having a tour today. James Robson, 51 minutes ago, reporting that United sale process is gathering pace. Sir Jim Ratcliffe will be touring the club today. He's wanted to buy United for a long time. Info he received today will help determine how much he's prepared to pay. So they will be going over all the financials. They will be asking lots of questions. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe is not out of the running yet. Let's just ask the live chat, guys. Who do you want to be new owner of Manchester United? Qatar or Sir Jim? Let's have a little vote in the chat. I'm just going to stay completely down the middle here because that's genuinely how I feel. I do feel like either or would be good for us. They both are totally different packages. They're totally different owners. They're going to run the club in totally different ways. I believe that Sir Jim will not invest anywhere near as much as the Qatar will. But in some ways, we don't really need all that much investment because, I mean, look at us now, shackled by the shithouse Glazers yet still able to compete near the top and win trophies. We could still certainly go on and do that with new owners who just run the club well. If they run the club well and invest a good amount into the football club, we will be just fine. However, the Qatar ownership has massive positives because of the fact that they just have so much money. So they will invest hugely in all areas, and we will suddenly be the most powerful team in world football, or certainly up there. I mean, certainly up there. Yes, there's other owners of football clubs like City and Newcastle who have owners who are also worth billions and billions and billions. But nobody can really compete with a name that is Manchester United. Like, if Man United were not shackled by our owners and we had the same level playing field as City in all areas, then Man United would be, the team winning everything. Man United would be the team attracting the best players. The only reason we haven't actually been able to do that is because of the fact that they've got more spending power than us at the moment, which is a disgrace, which is an absolute disgrace. Also, like I've talked about financial fair play before, we have the most we generate the most money as a football team. So we would have the most spending power, because if you're sticking to financial fair play, which nobody seems to, but if you're sticking to financial fair play, then nobody can compete with United because our commercial revenue is just so big. We don't really have to overinflate anything like City do and lie and say, oh, this Etihad sponsorship deal is worth X amount. Let's put that down on the books. Let's move this money from this company into the football club and justify our spending by using that as revenue. They're making £7.50 a week on ticket sales, Man City. Do you know what I mean? There's 3 people watching their games in the fucking stands, guys. So obviously I'm, exaggerating a bit here, but nobody can compete with Manchester United in terms of the revenue. So once we've got that problem out the way and we've actually can spend everything we generate, crikey, there's no stopping us. Lots of people commenting Qatar, though, in the chat here. Aftab says Qatar. Raptor says Sir Jim. Qatar says Jonathan Pearl. Henrik says Qatar. FJT says Qatar. The big guy says Qatar. Qatar, please, says Babs. Twisted Faces, I like Jim, but Qatar brings debt-free. Jim doesn't. Absolutely right, that's true. I mean, we don't necessarily know 100% terms of the deal that Sir Jim Ratcliffe would be proposing, but what we have heard is the speculation is that he only wants to buy the Glazers out. He doesn't want 100% ownership of the football club, and he's likely to not invest anywhere near the same level of investment that the Qataris would do. So that is a fair point you've made there. You felt Qatari for some time, says Kibirango. Herbert, nice one, bud. FGT says, if you watch Love Island, go ahead and vote Jim. Gregory Burke says, Qatar has the billions to continue helping United beyond the purchase of the club from the Glazers. So true. If anybody is going to build us a new state-of-the-art stadium, or certainly revamp the old one and all facilities and infrastructure and everything, it's going to be the Qatari investment, I believe. The Europa League draw, it is on shortly, actually, Matthew. It's on in about, it's on around about midday. We're going to be back on the channel in about half an hour or so, watching the Champions League draw and also the Europa League draw. Stu comments, with Qatar, we will get what we want a lot quicker. With Jim, we will get what we want, but it might take a lot longer. I'm happy with either. Great comment, really, Stu. That's kind of how I feel, man. Either way, they're all better than the Glazer shithouses, aren't they? But it's a pretty resounding vote in the chat, though. DJ John, Sanili, FJT, Rico Perch, Adewale, all say Qatar. Sin Games wants Qatar as well. Interesting, yeah, interesting. So lots of people want Qatar. Jonathan Pearl says, remove the debt and it won't matter if we get Jim or Qatar. I'm with you as well, Jonathan. Remove the debt. We are servicing debts at the moment which shouldn't be there. We're spending tens of millions of pounds just on paying interest every single year. We're shackled because of that. It's true. Once we get rid of all of that and we have got owners who invest most of what this club generates, we'll be fine. Right, just a couple of things I want to talk about before we get into the chat properly. Then we'll get back on this Qatar stuff. Don Piglioni, thanks for the £2 super chat. He says, so you want to sell the club? So you want to sell the club for money? You come to me on the eve of the sale of the club, and you make me an offer that I cannot refuse. Don Piglioni, thank you so much for getting in here with your super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Right, okay, very quickly, this is not Qatar related, this is not Sir Jim related, but just to clarify very quickly, Sir Jim is touring the club today. He will be with Sir Brailsford and a small team to find out a little bit more about the financials at Manchester United, also to build some relationships at Manchester United here. But as we've heard from Fabrizio and many other sources, that's what happened yesterday. Although Sheikh Jassim was not there, his delegation was, and they spent 10 hours at United yesterday, and they remain determined to buy 100% of the club after talks. And a formal new bid is expected soon. The plan has never changed, while Ineos Group will also visit Manchester United today. So that's really the latest on the whole takeover situation. There is a formal, more negotiations, more rounds of negotiation coming very soon, and a formal bid expected from Sheikh Jassim and probably Sir Jim, but certainly Sheikh Jassim very soon. So just wanted to talk about Rashford's stats very quickly here. Rashford, 27 goals and 9 assists in 43 games for Man United this season. You what? That's a contribution of 36 goals in 43 games in the toughest league in the world. What an absolute baller. Can we just get a hashtag Rashi Baller in the live chat? What a redemption arc. Who saw this coming, really? Who saw Rashford going from, let's face it, being an absolute guff merchant last season to being the player that he is today? It's quite a remarkable turnaround, really. Just goes to show you should keep the faith sometimes in certain players when they've got raw talent, and certainly when they've done good things for you in the past. Like, there was no denying that Rashford's had very good seasons for us in the past. He did have about 1.5 seasons that were mediocre, though, that were poor. But before that, he was very good, and he's also homegrown, Manc born and bred, all the rest of it, man, all the rest of it that gives you extra reasons to keep the faith in him. I'm glad I kept the faith in Rashford. I mean, there's always been times when he's been poor, but we said at the start of the season, I want to give Rashford a chance until at least Christmas to see how he does, because look, we've put a lot into Rashford, and he's homegrown, he's Manc born and bred. Let's see if he can turn it around. And boy, has he turned it around. He did turn it around. And I'm just so happy for him. He deserves it, man. He seems a good lad on and off the pitch. And nobody can deny the impact that he's having at the club this season. He's absolutely doing tremendous things. He's actually overtaken Cristiano Ronaldo now as well in regards to European goals for Manchester United. And he becomes the youngest Man United player to score 25 goals in European competitions. Okay, it's not the Champions League. You know, some of them are in the Champions League, but Ronaldo's were all in the Champions League for Man United. That is a difference. However, he has now overtaken Ronaldo in terms of, I think he's now the 6th highest scorer in Europe for Manchester United now, which is an incredible achievement. He's only 25. He's doing fantastic things. The next 5 years are probably going to be very, very bright for Marcus Rashford. So, yep, absolutely, Stu. Shout out to Benny McCarthy working with Rashford. Shout out to Benny McCarthy. Shout out to Ten Hag. Shout out to the coaching staff. But also just a massive shout out to Marcus Rashford, because he's had to build himself back up. I mean, the amount of criticism he was getting last season. People were saying things like, oh, he's too political now. He's trying to feed kids. He's trying to feed kids and he's taking his eye off the prize of being a footballer. I don't think it couldn't be further from the truth. What I like about Rashford is he's trying to have a positive impact off the pitch as well. And he's using his position, he's using his platform for good. And also, at the same time now, he's doing incredible things for Manchester United. So, long may it continue. Just wanted to talk about those statistics real quick after the game last night, because Rashford is no doubt the player of the season for Man United this season. Yeah, Casemiro and some other guys have shone, but Rashford, 27 goals and 9 assists in 43 games. I mean, those are world-class stats. If this was anybody else we were talking about playing in a different league, never mind the Premier League, with those statistics, we would be saying sign him up in the summer. So it's an unbelievable season he's having, and long may it continue. And just very quickly, last night, some comments from Osimhen on a potential summer move and Man United. So this is another player that we've been discussing, and most of us would want Osimhen. Smash a 1 if you want Victor Osimhen to sign this summer. Does seem a great player. I've talked about why I think Harry Kane would be a great option as well. And like I just mentioned earlier, if the Qataris come in, then why not go and get Kylian Mbappe instead? But Osimhen would certainly be a a fantastic signing. Hey, Ruddy Can't Game. Hey, City 10, how are you today as well? City 10, get in there. But Ruddy Can't Game, thank you for getting in here. Arsenal fan alert. Let's all laugh at Arsenal fans. Ruddy Can't Game, he says, has it been too soon? I'll see myself out. Oh, I see what you did there. Do you know what? Arsenal, get in the bin. Get in the bin, though. Ruddy Can't Game, thank you so much for your super chat there, my friend. I appreciate that. What are you doing up, mate? Are you on night shift right now, are you? Or have you just been crying yourself to sleep, trying to get to sleep, but haven't been able to since Arsenal got dumped out of the Europa, my son? You're a legend, though, Ruddy. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for getting in this morning, lad. I appreciate you. From New York City, man. But yes, just on Osimhen's quotes there. Osimhen on the summer move and Man United. This is what he said. He said, I don't know what the future holds. At the end of the season, I will sit down with my agents and discuss. I will also be in talks with Napoli, he told Sport 1. I'm incredibly grateful to Napoli. We'll find a good solution together. So, you know, he's just saying basically everything that any player who isn't a complete Robert Lewandowski shithouse should be saying, which is keeping your cards close to your chest and just not giving away too much. He's not saying, oh yeah, I'm desperate to get out of Napoli. I think what you have to read into that comment is, though, that he's open to a move, and he probably wants to go to an even bigger club than Napoli. Napoli are obviously good club, big club, doing really well, but, you know, there's definitely bigger clubs out there, such as Manchester United. And if Man United did have new owners like Qatari owners, I think it becomes the most appealing club to play for in England, because the project is there. Yeah, we might not have won the Premier League for 10 years, but the project is there to be a part of the team that does win that first Premier League title for years. That's what it is. That's what's so appealing about it. Money won't be an issue. We've always been able to compete with most teams anyway in regards to paying wages. And even in the transfer window, we are able to compete with most teams, even with the shithouse Glazers, to be fair. They spent money on transfers. They just haven't gone the whole hog. And also, you know, it's other areas of the team that's the problem, the squad that's the club that's the problem. But certainly, Osimhen would want to join if there was an offer on the table from Manchester United. I'm almost sure of it. So there you go. I think that's very likely. If we get Qatar owners for us to go and spend, you probably have to spend 100 million euros to get the guy. But he would be a fantastic acquisition, just like, you know, a lot of the other players we have mentioned. So just wanted to mention those two things. Now we get back into the Qatar talk, or anything you guys want to chat about. It's 10:15 already, so I'm going to stick on here for about 5 or 8 or 10 minutes and just see what you legends are saying very quickly. So let's get your comments in here. Raptor says, rather have owners that invest a reasonable amount instead of owners that would try to buy us back into winning ways. Don't want Man United's reputation to be stained similar to City's or Newcastle's. That's one negative about this acquisition, wouldn't it? You're absolutely right, Raptor. I'm with you, bud. So I've always said previously I would rather have Sir Jim because of the fact that, well, he's a local lad, isn't he, from Salford? And you know, Man United doesn't really need to spend hundreds of billions or hundreds of millions. Like, we generate so much cash. So I do feel that way as well. But just recently, I'm sort of warming to the fact that, you know, it would be quite nice to spend. I basically don't care. Either or. Like I've said many times, either or. Either we go out there and we're the most powerful club spending-wise in the world with the Qatari owners, or we're still a ridiculously powerful club just with Sir Jim Ratcliffe at the wheel. You know, that is true. Either way, Man United is a huge beast of a club. We just need to get ourselves out of debt, improve the stadium. As long as Sir Jim and his party were interested in actually investing beyond buying the club. We don't just want people to buy the club off the Glazers and keep us in debt. We want people to come in, clear that debt. We want people to come in, spend on the stadium, the infrastructure and everything. So if he's got 2 billion after buying Manchester United to do so, then I'd be quite just as happy with Sir Jim, in all honesty. I really would be. Kay and Joey, thanks for your super sticker, my son. It says, hiya. Thank you very much indeed. Let's get a cheeky little love heart in there for Kay and Joey as well. I appreciate it, dude. Thank you for the raw tip there and the super sticker of justice. Thank you, Kay and Joey. Ruddy Can't Game says, Arsenal need an oil daddy. Super League, what? Yeah, well, there you go, Ruddy. I mean, you have been spending a lot of money, haven't you? So, you know, you have been spending a lot of money. You can't deny the ambition over the last couple of seasons from your owners. Jonathan Gallagher, how are you today, mate? Red says, who do you want in the draw, Pig? Are you worried about getting Arsenal? Who do I want in the draw? You know, Union Berlin or someone. I don't know, man. Just one of the shitter teams. Of course, in the semi-finals, we want to get the easiest team we could possibly get, which, I mean, who's left in it? Let's have a quick look. Europa League draw. Let's just see, to remind myself. Obviously, we want to avoid teams like Juventus. We want to avoid teams like Roma, etc. There's some good teams left in it, isn't there? So, we've got Juventus and Roma. Jose Mourinho's Roma is definitely a team we want to avoid until the final, if we can. We beat Real Betis. Who else is in it? So, there's There's just not union. So there's a few. Here we go. Sporting, we'd probably rather avoid them as well. Bayer Leverkusen, you got Union St. Gilloise. You know, we'd take them to be fair. Feyenoord, we'd take them to be fair. Although Feyenoord won fucking 7-0, whatever it was last night. But we take them. You know, this. Of course, we want one of the lesser teams in the quarterfinal. We're getting Juve, says Madhouse. Probably. Give us Roma, says Alex Flames. I'd rather avoid them to the final, personally. Must Play says Sir Jim Ratcliffe loves oil money too. He collaborates with them. Well, like I say, nobody's perfect, and he's certainly not himself either. Yes, Dark Knight says, doesn't Jim own Nice? Where are they in the French league? I'd be wary of Jim spending any money on us. Fair point, Dark Knight. So fair point, yes. Okay, but, you know, also, what about the fact that, what about PSG's owners, man? It's all kind of linked. It's all kind of linked, isn't it? And, you know, they don't win the Champions League or anything, do they? They've got a team of Galacticos, and they only just about win a Farmers League, lad. So, you know, I don't think that's anything to really go on. It's a totally different club. But I feel you, though. It's a bit of a concern. Stu says, I want United v Leverkusen final purely so my players get upgraded on FIFA. Compost Mer says, there's no way Sir Jim is competing with Qatari money and whatever other business opportunities they offer to Glazer scum. Precisely, yeah. So Qataris are understood to be offering the Glazers certain investments within Qatar, you know, which is going to sweeten the deal. If basically the Qatar are going to end up with the club, aren't they? Bell691 says we'd rather play nobody, apparently. Matt says if Jim gets United, watch out for Kasper Schmeichel transfer. You won't be laughing at us in May when we lift the Premier League, says Arsenal Fly. Well, if that happens, we won't be. But we're laughing at you now, though, bud. We're laughing at you now. Definitely. Let's all laugh at Arsenal for life, guys. Adam Wale says no, because PSG don't have a good coach. Come on now. I mean, they've had many coaches over the last few seasons. You know, so... Darren says, we want Juventus, then it's ours to lose, says Darren. Well, yep, fair play. Matt G says, my 90 Master will cost 1.4 million, gets an upgrade today, +1, and plus in the semis, +3 new traits. Go on, Matty G, lad. George G's laughing at Arsenal. Mbappe control the club. Well, yeah, no, we don't want to get some guy who's just a complete prima donna, but Mbappe in terms of skill and class is no doubt, you know, I think Mbappe's probably a bit jaded at PSG. The ceiling is not as high as a club like United. United has the ability to go and win everything, Champions Leagues and the lot. PSG, even though they've been there in the actual competition every year for years, they're not likely to do it. Their standard of football they play every single week against French farmers is not going to make them the best team in the world, even though they've got a Galactico squad, in my opinion. Right, guys, okay, so I've just seen the time. We're going to have to wrap up in a second in order to go and do the Europa League draw video. So here we go. We're going to be back on Europa League draw live here. I'm going to put it in the live chat. Before I do, I'm going to go and shout out everyone who retweeted this show. Thank you, everyone who retweeted the show. It's at the top of the live chat. Go and give us a retweet if you want to help the show. 7 retweets. Thank you, guys. Feline Fur, a.k.a. Don Gangshi. Thank you so much. Kieran Watts and G-Dad Gamer, a.k.a. that's the old 793, isn't it, my son? Everybody's got different aliases, I forget, but I think it is. Jarvis Cocker, John Greening as well. Thank you, guys. Anthony Dos Santos and Transfers_UTD. Thank you, guys, so much for retweeting the show. I'm going to pin this to the top of the live chat now, which is the Europa League draw. We're going to be back on in 15 minutes, 20 minutes. The program starts on BT, I think, at 10:45. The actual Europa League draw is after the Champions League draw, but we'll get on and we'll see what the Champions League draw is. And we'll also watch the Europa League draw come out together and react to it and see who we get. So make sure you go over there and come and join us for that, guys, because we'll find out who we get in the Europa League. We're definitely not getting Arsenal, though. Thank you, Sing Games. He says, I shared the stream. It helps the YouTube algorithm. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, please do click the share button on YouTube as well and give it a share. That helps the algorithm, absolutely. Thank you, Sing Games. You're a legend, lad. Thank you very much. Must places Ineos are literally investing in gas and people think they're morally better than Saudi or Qatar. Well, that's a fair point. Absolutely, you bring up their must play. I agree with you, mate. I mean, there is certain human rights issues that, you know, in Qatar, which are present as well, which you can't really deny. But yeah, no, fair enough. Everyone's culture is different. I think we have to respect that. But anyway, guys, I'm going to finish this stream. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video before you go. Hit the like on it. That's the latest news. Formal bid expected very soon from Sheikh Jassim. So Jim Ratcliffe and his party are looking at the club today. So that's where we're at. Hopefully there'll be another round of negotiations and discussions very soon for the purchase of this club. Hashtag Glazers out. It's happening, guys. It's happening. Matter of time. Let's hope they don't hang on like the bloody like the fucking hemorrhoids that they are. You know what I mean? Let's hope that we get rid of them very, very soon. And Man United has new owners, and we see Man United being great again. Make United great again. Hashtag Mooga. Thank you, everyone, for getting in here. I appreciate you all. And that's the end of the show. There's the latest on the takeover. We'll keep you up to date with all the news as and when it happens. Thank you all for being here. Make sure to like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Click the bell emoji for notifications so you don't miss streams. Also, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Twitch. All the same at Flying Pig United. And we'll be back in 15 minutes' time to watch the Europa League draw using this link in the chat. So go over there, smash a like on that Europa League draw as well beforehand. Helps us out. And go and watch it. See you soon, guys. Thanks for tuning in. That's the end of the show. And remember, when the seagulls follow the trawler, this is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.